Imagine thinking you the prize and I'm the one paying for your Uber home. That's when it clicked. Shorty ass got me twisted. She walk around like every guy's supposed to chase her, but I'm the one covering tabs, gas, and getting nothing but attitude. Whole time she talking about, I don't do broke dude energy. Like, ma'am, you're riding in it. So yeah, I paid for that Uber. One last time. Sent her ass home in silence, no music, no goodbye kiss. Just that awkward thank you before the door shut. I leaned back in the driver's seat, staring at the city lights bouncing off the windshield. Calm, controlled, untouchable. Some player shit. Not angry, not bitter. Just done playing the fool while she strutted around like she owned my attention. I realized she had been walking on my patience for months, thinking I'd just smile and nod while she ran her little games. I never yelled, I never begged, I never made a scene. That wasn't my style. I let her energy speak for itself, knowing full well it would expose her sooner or later. Tonight, that moment came. She shot me a look as she climbed out of the Uber, that half smile that was supposed to soften me up. Didn't work. My eyes stayed on her for a beat longer than necessary, calm, almost detached, like I wasn't even aware of her presence, but I was. Every twitch, every fake laugh, every little attempt to regain control, I saw it all. And then I drove off. No rush, no dramatic tires squealing, just steady, slow, deliberate. Every light she passed under, every step she took toward the elevator was a reminder. I had the power in this little dynamic. She had no idea. Couldn't even begin to suspect. I thought back to all the times I'd covered her dinners, picked up her tabs, paid for her gas when she claimed she forgot her wallet. All those times she acted like she was doing me a favor by being near me, by talking to me, by letting me hold her purse while she scrolled through Instagram. It was exhausting thinking about it. But I smiled quietly, because finally, I was untouchable. Finally, she couldn't manipulate me with her charm or her fake apology texts. The Uber ride itself felt symbolic. Me behind the wheel, calm and collected, doing the bare minimum, taking her home, while internally tallying every little slight, every little stunt she'd pulled over the months, every time she acted like she was too good for me, every time she tried to test my patience with that I'm mysterious act. Tonight, it all paid off. Not in drama, not in confrontation, but in the subtle, quiet satisfaction of control. As I drove, I remembered the texts she'd sent earlier in the week. Flirty, manipulative, testing the waters. You busy tonight? Just checking in. You always so cold, lol? I smiled at that last one, because, yeah, I was cold. But calculated cold, measured cold, untouchable cold. Not the kind that comes from anger. This was a deliberate, quiet dominance. She couldn't read it, couldn't manipulate it, and she hated it without even knowing why. Perfect. Pulling up to her building, I slowed, casually glanced at the time, and waited just long enough to make her feel a tiny flicker of unease. She didn't know what it was, but she felt it. Confidence like that isn't loud. It's in the silence. It's in the way you don't over-explain yourself. It's in the calm way you hand someone their Uber receipt like it's nothing, while internally celebrating every little victory you've earned over months of her playing games. The elevator doors opened. She paused, looking back at me as if she might try to say something meaningful, maybe flirty, maybe apologetic. I gave her nothing, not a look, not a word. Just the quiet satisfaction of knowing she had just realized she wasn't running this show tonight. She was a guest and I was the host. I drove off slowly, taking the long route home, letting the city lights blur past. Quiet streets, low music, deep breaths. I thought about the nights I'd stayed out too late covering for her, the mornings I woke up tired while she slept like nothing had happened. That energy. I was reclaiming it tonight, one calm drive, one quiet Uber, one small act that felt massive in the context of all the little compromises I'd made. The next day, her texts came in. Thanks again for last night, and you're too good to me. I didn't reply. Not even a read receipt. That's the power of subtlety. Let her stew. Let her wonder. Let her internalize the fact that she had no leverage anymore. The petty satisfaction wasn't in revenge. It was in letting her figure it out herself. Weeks passed. She tried, subtly at first, to reinsert herself into my life. Flirty snaps, casual Instagram likes, even the occasional, "Hey, stranger." I didn't react. No need. Every attempt reminded me why I'd gone cold in the first place. Every effort was a silent victory. She was chasing a ghost she couldn't catch, a version of me that no longer answered to anyone but himself. And as I sat back and watched, I realized the petty energy I had cultivated wasn't just for her. It was for me. The calm, collected, untouchable version of myself that she had underestimated. I hadn't needed to yell, to fight, to argue. I just needed to exist on my own terms. And every time she tried to test it, every time she assumed she had a say, I proved her wrong. Calmly, silently, effectively. Looking back, that Uber ride was more than just a ride. It was a statement, a culmination of patience, of self-respect, of quiet dominance. It was the moment I stopped letting her pretend she had the power. She could think she was the prize all she wanted, but the truth was clear. The game had always been mine to control. Every move she made afterward was like watching a replay of her own mistakes. Every casual glance, every tentative message, every subtle attempt to regain influence. It reminded me that I had won. Not with noise, not with confrontation, not with dramatic gestures. I had won with patience, strategy, and the quiet understanding that respect is earned, not demanded. And that's how it went from there. Calm, cold, petty, untouchable. She could act like the prize all she wanted. It didn't matter. Because in that quiet little Uber ride, in that moment of perfect control, I had remembered my own value. And nothing she did afterward would ever change that. The subtle victory was in the silence, the quiet, the moments she didn't understand. The petty satisfaction wasn't in making her pay attention. It was in finally taking back control I had let her assume she had. And every single time she tried afterward, she was reminded. She wasn't the prize. I had always been running the show. I just finally realized it and finally acted like it. Driving home that night, I rolled the windows down just a bit, letting the cool air hit my face. The music was low, just background. My mind replayed the night in slow motion, the way she had walked out, the way she had hesitated, the tiny flicker of recognition in her eyes that she wasn't untouchable. Perfect. Calm, cold, collected, and petty. Untouchable. And from that night forward, every time I thought about her, every time her name popped up in a memory or a text notification, I smiled quietly. Because she thought she had control. She didn't. I had it all along. She was riding in it, but the ride was mine to drive, and I decided the destination.